Alright, today's lesson I would like to teach you how to find a decreasing and an increasing by a percentage. So percentage I regularly use when dealing with money. So here's some examples. You can decrease an amount by a percentage. If you go outside, you see a sale and discount. They will say 20% off, 40% off, or up to 75% off. Sometimes all items in the store are reduced by 30% off for 3-day sales. And then the value of a car is depreciating at a rate of 18% or 12% per annum. And I suppose we can also have some increasing amount by percentage. All right, they will say a retail shop mark up the item by 25%, or my salary increased by 5% each year. This kind of idea. So our job is to be able to calculate the final amount after a certain amount increase. Okay, so it's called a percentage increase and percentage decrease. And I'd like to show you two different ways to do a percentage increase and decrease question. All right, so what we're going to do we're starting from increasing by a percentage first, and then we're going to move on to decreasing by a percentage. All right, so increasing by a percentage. Right, now sometimes in the real life there are many words representing increasing by a percentage. The word includes, markup. So I'm just going to show you a different, words here. Markup, increase, of course. Profits. Inflation. That's another word for increasing amount. Surcharge. Alright, so those are the common words for increasing or increasing by a percentage. Alright, so there are two different ways you can calculate the percentage increase. So I'd like to show you both methods and you can choose which way you prefer, okay? Alright, so let's just say we have, let's start with a question first. So let's say we have 100, this is the first question here, $160 is increased by 40%. All right, so how would you do this question here? Now, the first method 1, is you need to find out, all right, the increased amount first. All right, so find the increased amount. So you just want to find out the increased part, okay, the increased amount. And then you calculate the final amount. So how would you find the increased amount? Well, it says it's increased by 40%. So what we need to do is to work out what is 40% of 160. And according from the last lesson, 40% off, if you see the word off, it means multiplication. So you want to work out what is 40% of 160, because the question says 160 is increased by 40%. And the answer is $64. That is the increased amount. So there are $64 more. Okay, that's an increased amount. Now what you need to do, the second step is you need to calculate the final amount. So of course the original amount is $160. You want to plus 64 to work out the final amount. So that's the first method. You always work out what is the increased amount first, and then you plus the final amount, plus the original amount to get the final amount. So that's the final amount. Right, so this is the first method. Now, the second method to do this question is slightly different. The second method to do this question is, instead of finding the increased amount, you want to work out what is the total percentage. All right, basically you want to work out what's the total percentage. So we're treating the original price or the original amount is 100%. All right, so we'll do original amount as a percentage, plus, okay, plus the increased percentage. That will be the first step. All right, so we find out the original amount, we plus the increased percentage. All right, but original amount is always 100%. So basically it's using 100% plus the increased percentage. And obviously in this case, it's increased by 40%. So that number can be changed. All right, once you finish that, you're going to multiply the original amount by that final answer here. So by the final percentage or the new values, right? So because the original percentage is 100%, and then you plus the increased percentage, and then finally you times by the original amount, which you can get to the final answer. All right, so let's just do the same question, but this time using this method here. So the original percentage is 100%. It is increased by 40, so you plus by 40%. That gives you 140%. Okay, then what you need to do is to work out what is 140% of 160. Right, and then remember, of means we change that word into multiplication. So we times 140% by 160. And after we use our calculator, the answer should equals to the previous answer we got before. All right, so the same amount. So these are the second method, all right, how to find the percentage increase. Now, it's really up to you which way you like to do. I personally believe the second method is slightly easier because you don't really need to calculate a separate calculation. Everyone knows how to plus 100 by a number, all right, so you don't really need to show these steps here. Because we know 100 plus 40% or 100% plus 40% is 140%. You don't really need to show the working out, and you just simply multiply the numbers. All right, so this is the percentage increase. Now for the percentage decrease, same thing. They're exactly the same. The only difference is one is plus, the other one is minus. All right, so I decrease by percentage. And this time I'm just going to quickly do that. All right, some common words for related to decreasing or related to decrease by a percentage will be loss, discount, sell, decrease, depreciation. Right, those are the common words. All right, again, let's start with the first example. And this time I'm just going to show you one example, and I believe that's good enough. And again, we are just going to practice with this example, and you should be able to work out the rest of the question quite easily. All right, I'm just going to find a good example to do, okay? All right, so how about this one here? $84 is decreased by 40%, and you want to work out what is the final amount, right? What is the final amount if $84 is decreased by 40%? All right, so the first method 1, you need to work out the decreased amount, right? So the first method, this time I'm not going to write it down, I'm just going to do the question. You want to work out what is 40% of 84, because you want to work out the decreased amount. So 40% of 84 is $33.60. So this is the decreased amount. Now, please remember, you haven't finished the question. This is just a discount. What you want to work out is what is the final amount, all right? What is the final price? So what's the final price after the discount? So right now, the discount is $33.60, which means you don't need to pay that much. You pay less than, the original amount, right? So then what you need to do is use the original amount, 84, subtract $33.60, and then you should be able to work out what is the final cost. So the final cost or final amount is $50.40. Okay, that is the final amount. All right, so this is the first method. Now the second method, all right, is you are using, right, because it's decreasing, so it's decreasing from 100%. So the original price we consider is 100%, but now it's decreased by 40%. So clearly we only need to pay 60% of the cost, right? It says discount by 40%, which means that you don't need to pay that 40%. You only pay the remaining 60%. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So that gives you $84, which is the original amount. That's 100% of this amount, and then we just times by 60%, because remember we only pay 60% of that original amount, and then the answer equals to $50.40 straight away. It's the same answer as the previous one. So again, you can choose which method you like to do. I still believe the second method is slightly easier, because usually just one step you can get to the final answer. However, for the first method, it does provide you about the discount or the decreased amount. So if the question asks you how much you saved, then using the first method is, it's straightforward. You know how much you saved. But you can still use the second method to work out how much you saved by subtracting the final, payment from the original amount. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone, and I hope everyone enjoying this lesson. It's all about decreasing or increasing by a percentage using two different ways to work out the final amount. Okay. Thank you, everyone.